roadworks closed. Oh, shit. So, I'm gonna be really annoyed if something went wrong with the setup and like I end up talking to myself for half an hour. That would just piss me off. But anyway, it's just another biker here, coming at you with my first attempt today. First attempt at a live commentary on my bike. We're gonna see how this goes. And I thought, why not try out something close to my heart? Fucking buses, man. Oh, I hate buses so much. I hate trains so much. I hate public transport so much. I used to use it to commute daily for a year. And that's kind of why I got this idea that I've now been commuting on a motorcycle to work in college for a year. And I also commute by train and bus to college for a year. So, I thought I'd compare them. Now, a lot of people when I was getting into bikes told me that don't bother, public transport will be cheaper and easier. Just don't bother, wait till you can get your car license. And that's a whole other subject of why, there's not much point getting a car license in my situation, but oh fuck, the roadworks are... What the hell have they done here? Oh boy, got some temporary traffic lights to sit at now. There's only one thing I hate more than actual traffic lights. Temporary ones. This video brought to you by unmarked tea bags. Tea's not sweet enough. Tea's not white enough. Oh, wasn't that fun? Anyway, as I was saying, people are telling me just stick with public transport, it'll be much cheaper and effective, and people even said, oh, in a couple of months' time you'll be barely riding because you'll be on the bus so much. And oh fuck, the bird just shat on my helmet. And now my response to that was kind of, it's still the same, but that's quite a ridiculous concept, because for a start, buses are a lot more expensive than you'd think when using them long term. Now, a single bus ticket to, I don't know, from Bury to Thetford, or I don't know, Bury to Diss, you can struggle to spend more than a £5 on it. You wouldn't think that just spending spending only a £5 or only spending like £3.50 on a bus ticket wouldn't be that much, but it quickly adds up. You think about it. I don't know, I do college 3 days a week, so I've got it quite easy. Last course I did it 5 days a week, so it's a bit easier around this time. So that's what, £3 a day for 3 days a week. It starts to add up a bit, especially when you add in a train. Now, even though I had a pass which gave me I bought a pass which meant I just basically had a 50% saving, I think the train would cost me about £10 a day, and that thing got very expensive. So even when taking the bus, not when taking the train into consideration, it gets expensive quick. £9 a week essentially is what I'm be spending on a bus. So £9 a week. So how does it compare on my average running cost for this bike a week? Well, I'll spend about a £5 every 2 or 3 weeks on fuel. So it costs me half as much to fill up barely at all. Now, of course, if I do leisure trips or drive on longer roads, I'll use fuel faster, but I rarely ever have to fill up more than once every 2 weeks, once every 3 if I don't do any leisure trips. So for a start, it's a lot cheaper. Also, it is more convenient because I can miss a bus, but I can't exactly miss my bike. As long as the bike's working and the roads are safe, you're going to be going. The The buses are usually on pretty convenient times, but you only have to be 5 minutes late, and then you miss an entire class because you have to wait for the next bus. And it'd be even worse with time, with trains where they're about an hour late. You might think, oh, is it much faster on a bike than on a bus? Yep, much faster. Not only can a bike physically go faster, but even if I went actually slower than a bike, it's still... Oh fuck, a bug just hit me. It's not about being able to go fast, although a bike can technically go faster than a bus. For a start, a bike is more manoeuvrable. It won't take as long to do corners, and it's doing a direct journey. Unlike a bus that will stop off everywhere and, at every bus stop it finds on the routes. You're only stopping off at the stops you need to get to. If you need to go to the shops on the way there, fine. But apart from that, you're pretty much going straight to work or college, so it will get you there twice as fast for half the price. Not even half, like a quarter of the price. So why do people keep recommending them? Well, the thing that I think picks people off is that getting into owning a vehicle is quite a high buy price. It costs a couple £100 to get all the gear you need and the right license, while CVT costs anywhere from about £100 to £150 for an average CVT. Mine cost me about £130. This gear all combined will cost about, £200, and the bike is obviously the most expensive part of it, and of course you have to insure it. So a lot of these things put people off when they could just give a fiver to the local bus guy and all drive them there. But once you've made the investment, once you've sank in the money to getting a bike, or maybe a car if you have more money than sense, then it's definitely worth it. It pays for itself. Although it did cost me, and it took me several months to be able to get at the point where I could actually use a motorbike successfully. Of course, that also brings up the other question, why not use a push bike? That was another thing people tell me, just stick with your push bike, because you don't have to pay anything for that, as long as you have the strength to pedal. And I did use a push bike for a couple of months to commute to work and to commute to college. Now, it worked okay for book college, although there was a massive hill to pedal up to every day, which was a bit of a downer. But for work, my work was about 6 miles away at the time, which, I'm not the fittest bike rider, so it was an amazing ride, and it would take me a long ass time to get there. It could take me nearly 40 minutes to get there. I'm sure there are people out there, sometimes half an hour, sometimes 40, depending on the traffic, because bikes get stuck in traffic. Some people could probably, there'll be some really fit guy in the comments who could do it in 20 minutes, but that wasn't the problem, especially going back at night. On a push bike just wasn't practical, and of course you are very limited on how far you can go on a push bike. If you only need to go, a mile down the road, then it makes absolutely all the sense to just get on a push bike and pedal a mile down the road. But especially for that job where I need to do 6 miles in the dark every night, well, the weekends in at least, it didn't make a lot of sense, and that was my main driving force to get a bike. And at the time it was a basic one. It was a rented 50cc scooter, about as bog standard as you can get. It even had a limit on it because it was a rental, and it was an amazing improvement. Unlike taking a bus, like I said earlier, the bike would go wherever I wanted to go, whenever I wanted it to go. It cost me a fraction, and was a lot more practical and speedy than a push bike. It didn't have to be I've never been a real speed demon wanting to go like 70 miles an hour everywhere, but just being able to do the speed limit and get to places within reasonable time was a big improvement. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope all this worked out.